Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the energy shift? Maybe someone greeted you warmly, but their smile didn't quite reach their eyes. Or you noticed a subtle tension that wasn't spoken aloud. Reading people isn't just a skill, it's an art, a combination of science, psychology, and philosophy. It's the ability to see beneath the surface, to grasp emotions, intentions, and truths that are often hidden in plain sight. This art has been the cornerstone of great leaders, negotiators, and thinkers throughout history. But it's not magic. It's a skill that anyone can cultivate with practice. In this video, we'll embark on a journey to uncover 8 powerful techniques for reading people without them ever realizing it. These techniques, grounded in both modern science and ancient philosophies like Stoicism, Taoism, and Confucianism, will help you navigate relationships, professional interactions, and everyday encounters with greater insight. To understand the value of reading people, let's consider its practical applications. Imagine being able to detect dishonesty during a negotiation, sense discomfort in a colleague before they voice it, or anticipate someone's needs in a relationship without them having to ask. These skills aren't about manipulation, but about connection and understanding. By reading people effectively, you can adapt your approach, build trust, and make informed decisions. The Stoics believed in the power of perception, particularly when it came to understanding others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't be overheard complaining. Instead, think about how much more of a man you are to handle your own emotions and understand theirs." The ability to read people is deeply tied to mastering your own reactions and remaining calm and composed in the face of ambiguity. Now, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Only 15% of my audience is currently subscribed, so if these insights resonate with you, I'd love for you to join our community and turn on the notification bell to stay updated. The first step to reading people is observation, and this isn't as simple as just watching. Observation is about noticing the subtle details that others overlook, the flicker of an eyebrow, the slight shift in posture, the hesitation in someone's tone. These micro-details often tell a more honest story than the words someone speaks. Modern psychology has shown us that communication is predominantly non-verbal. Research by Dr. Albert Mehrabian revealed that 93% of communication comes from non-verbal cues like tone, body language, and facial expressions, while only 7% comes from words. This means that by honing your observational skills, you're tapping into the majority of the information someone is presenting. The first historical figure to master this was Abraham Lincoln. Known for his quiet demeanor, Lincoln often allowed others to speak at length while he observed. By simply remaining silent and watching, he gained critical insights into their character, motivations, and fears. Silence, as we'll explore later, is one of the most powerful tools in the art of reading people. Technique 1. The power of silence. One of the simplest yet most profound techniques is the deliberate use of silence. In conversation, people are often uncomfortable with pauses. When you stop speaking, they feel compelled to fill the void. This can lead them to reveal their true thoughts, emotions, or intentions without even realizing it. Let's say you're in a meeting and a colleague seems hesitant about a project. Instead of probing directly, you pause after their comments, creating a moment of silence. Chances are they'll feel the need to explain further, offering insights they hadn't intended to share. This technique doesn't just give you information, it also conveys authority and composure. The philosophical roots of this technique can be traced to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the power of restraint, noting that speaking less often leads to better understanding. Silence is not just the absence of words, it's a space for reflection, observation, and insight. In my own life, I've used this technique countless times. During a job interview, for instance, I paused after the interviewer asked me a question. That moment of silence prompted them to clarify their expectations, giving me a clearer idea of how to tailor my response. By mastering silence, you gain the upper hand in any interaction, not by dominating the conversation, but by controlling its rhythm. Technique 2. Watch their feet. While many focus on facial expressions or gestures, the position of someone's feet often reveals their true intentions. Feet are less consciously controlled than hands or faces, making them an honest indicator of focus and desire. For example, in a social setting, if someone's feet are pointed toward the door, even as they engage in conversation, it's a sign that they'd rather leave. Similarly, during a negotiation, if someone's feet suddenly shift toward you, it indicates growing engagement or agreement. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's most astute leaders, was known for his keen observation of body language, including foot positioning. He used this to gauge loyalty and detect hidden dissent among his generals. While most focused on words, Napoleon read the unspoken language of their bodies. To use this technique, start by observing people in neutral settings. Pay attention to where their feet point during relaxed conversations. Once you've established a baseline, deviations from it will become glaringly obvious, giving you a window into their subconscious thoughts. Technique 3. The weight of words. Words may only account for 7% of communication, but they still hold immense power, particularly the words people repeat or emphasize. Repetition often signals underlying concerns, priorities, or emotions. Imagine a friend repeatedly mentioning how busy they are during a conversation. This isn't just idle talk. It's a reflection of their stress or a subtle request for understanding. By tuning into these verbal patterns, you can uncover hidden emotions or needs. Philosophers like Seneca taught that speech reveals the mind's workings. He believed that by listening carefully, one could discern not just what someone was saying, but why they were saying it. In practice, this means focusing not just on the content of someone's words, but on their context, delivery, and repetition. To practice this, try active listening during your next conversation. Instead of planning your response, focus entirely on the other person's words. Note any recurring phrases or topics, their windows into their deeper thoughts and feelings. As we progress through these techniques, it's essential to remember the philosophical principles underpinning them. Stoicism teaches us to seek clarity and remain detached from immediate judgments. Confucianism emphasizes empathy and understanding in human interactions. By combining these philosophies with modern science, we gain a comprehensive toolkit for reading people effectively. In the next sections, we'll delve into more advanced techniques, exploring how microexpressions, tone, and even omissions can reveal someone's inner world. These insights will not only sharpen your observational skills, but also deepen your empathy and connection with others. Stay tuned as we continue this journey into the art of subtle perception, uncovering techniques that have shaped history and can transform your life. Reading people is not about manipulation, it's about understanding. It's about seeing the world through someone else's eyes while maintaining the clarity of your own perspective. This chapter will focus on advanced techniques, skills honed by historical figures, backed by science, and rooted in philosophy that you can use to navigate relationships and situations with confidence and insight. Micro-expression mastery, a window into true emotions. Let's start with one of the most powerful tools in your observational arsenal, Microexpressions. These fleeting facial expressions last for less than a second and reveal true emotions, whether joy, anger, sadness, or fear, even if someone tries to hide them. The study of microexpressions gained prominence through the work of psychologist Dr. Paul Ekman. He discovered that these involuntary expressions are universal, crossing cultures and languages. Whether you're in Tokyo, Paris, or New York, a look of surprise or anger will look the same. Imagine you're in a business meeting, negotiating a deal. You present an offer, and for a fraction of a second, your counterpart's face tightens in a micro-expression of disdain before they recover and respond with a neutral tone. That fleeting reaction tells you everything you need to know about their true feelings toward your proposal. Historical leaders like Queen Elizabeth I mastered this art intuitively. She was known for her ability to gauge her court's mood with just a glance, using subtle shifts in expression to decide whom to trust. How can you practice this skill? Start by observing people in your everyday life. Watch videos of interviews, paying close attention to the moments just before someone answers a tough question. Over time, you'll train your brain to spot these fleeting clues, giving you an edge in reading emotions accurately. Tone and pace, the sound beneath the words. Have you ever noticed how someone's tone of voice can completely change the meaning of their words? A simple "I'm fine" can signal frustration, sadness, or indifference, depending on the tone, pace, and pitch with which it's delivered. The voice is a powerful tool, revealing emotions that words may try to mask. Research in psycholinguistics shows that changes in vocal tone and rhythm are often involuntary, providing a reliable indicator of someone's emotional state. Take, for example, the legendary speaker, Winston Churchill. Known for his commanding presence, Churchill wasn't just skilled at delivering words. He mastered the art of using tone and pace to influence and inspire. During tense negotiations, he listened intently to the cadence of his opponents, discerning hesitation, conviction, or doubt. In your daily life, pay attention to how people speak, not just what they say. Is their pace unusually fast? This might indicate nervousness. Is their tone low and steady? It could signal confidence or careful calculation. To sharpen this skill, try listening to conversations without watching the speakers. Focus solely on tone and pace to interpret emotions. Over time, you'll find that your ears can hear the subtext of any conversation. The baseline approach, understanding the norm to detect the exception. Before you can interpret someone's behavior, you need to understand what's normal for them. This is the baseline approach, a critical technique for accurately reading people. A baseline is essentially someone's usual behavior in neutral settings. By establishing this, you can detect deviations that signal stress, dishonesty, or excitement. For example, a typically talkative friend suddenly goes quiet during a discussion. This break from their norm suggests that something is on their mind. Sherlock Holmes, the fictional but iconic detective, was a master of baselines. He observed people in their ordinary states, noting every detail about their speech, posture, and habits. When something deviated, he knew exactly where to focus his attention. To establish a baseline, spend time observing people in relaxed settings. Note their typical tone, gestures, and expressions. Once you've identified their norm, any deviation will stand out like a flare in the night, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of their state of mind. The echo effect, mirroring for rapport. Humans are social creatures, wired for connection. One of the ways we establish rapport is through mirroring, subtly mimicking someone's posture, gestures, or tone. This is often unconscious, but it can be a powerful tool for understanding and building trust. Imagine you're in a job interview. The interviewer crosses their arms, leans forward, and speaks in a calm, measured tone. By subtly mirroring their posture and speech patterns, you create a sense of connection, making them feel more at ease with you. Julius Caesar, the Roman general and statesman, was known for using mirroring during his military campaigns. By adopting the demeanor of his soldiers, he inspired loyalty and fostered a sense of camaraderie, even in the most challenging circumstances. To use the echo effect, start by observing whether someone mirrors you. If they do, it's a sign that they feel comfortable and connected. If not, try subtly matching their movements or tone to create a sense of alignment. Be careful, though. Mirroring must be natural and subtle. Overdoing it can come across as insincere. The power of what's left. Unsaid. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. What someone doesn't say can be as revealing as what they do. This technique is about noticing omissions, avoided topics, or gaps in a narrative. For example, a friend shares a story about a recent vacation, but conspicuously avoids mentioning a partner who would typically feature in such tales. This omission might hint at tension or change in their relationship. Philosophers like Lao Tzu emphasize the wisdom of silence, teaching that understanding often comes from what is unsaid. In his words, "The wise man is one who knows what he does not say." To practice this, pay attention to patterns in conversations. What topics does someone consistently avoid? What details do they leave out? Asking open-ended questions can gently encourage them to fill in the gaps, often revealing more than they intended. As we dive deeper into these techniques, it becomes clear that reading people is both an art and a science. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to look beyond the obvious. By mastering skills like observing microexpressions, listening to tone, and understanding what's left unsaid, you'll not only enhance your perception, but also deepen your relationships and improve your decision-making. The art of reading people is akin to decoding a complex puzzle, and body language often holds the missing pieces. While words can be calculated and manipulated, the body tends to betray the truth. In this section, we'll delve into advanced techniques for interpreting body language, drawing from history's most perceptive leaders and integrating ancient philosophical principles. These insights will help you uncover hidden emotions, decipher unspoken messages, and anticipate actions, all without uttering a single word. Body language, the silent communicator. It's often said that actions speak louder than words, and this couldn't be truer when it comes to body language. From subtle shifts in posture to fleeting gestures, the human body communicates volumes about a person's thoughts and feelings. Learning to decode these signals requires a keen eye and an understanding of context. Take the example of crossed arms. In isolation, this gesture is often interpreted as defensive or closed off, but context matters. If someone is seated in a cold room, crossing their arms might simply be a way to stay warm. The key to reading body language is observing clusters of gestures rather than single actions. A person with crossed arms, furrowed brows, and averted eyes is likely feeling defensive, while crossed arms accompanied by a smile and relaxed posture might signal comfort. This principle of interpreting clusters mirrors the Stoic practice of seeking clarity. As Marcus Aurelius observed, "Look closely, and you will see the truth of the matter." Stoics advocated for careful observation without rushing to conclusions, a mindset that's invaluable when interpreting nonverbal cues. Hands are one of the most expressive parts of the body. They reveal nervousness through fidgeting, confidence through open gestures, and deception through concealment. Observing how someone uses their hands can provide insights into their emotional state and intentions. For instance, a speaker who uses expansive hand gestures likely feels confident and engaged, while someone who keeps their hands hidden may be experiencing insecurity or withholding information. This is why skilled negotiators often place their hands on the table, palms up, to convey openness and honesty. Now, some exciting news. Our channel now offers a 24/7 live stream, streaming Stoic wisdom and insights around the clock. Plus, by joining our members club, you'll unlock exclusive benefits, deeper content dives, and personal insights. Join us on this journey, and let's build a meaningful life together. And I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better every day" so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci were keen observers of hand gestures. His detailed studies of anatomy weren't just for artistic purposes, they also informed his understanding of human behavior. Da Vinci believed that hands, as much as faces, were windows to the soul. To practice this skill, start by observing how people use their hands in everyday situations. Note any patterns or changes. For example, if a normally expressive individual suddenly becomes still, it could indicate discomfort or an attempt to hide something. The eyes, the most honest communicators. The eyes are the window to the soul, as the old saying goes, and this sentiment holds true in the art of reading people. Eye contact, blinking patterns, and pupil dilation are all powerful indicators of a person's internal state. Prolonged eye contact often signals confidence or dominance, while frequent blinking can indicate nervousness or stress. Similarly, pupils tend to dilate when someone is interested or excited, and constrict when they're disinterested or uncomfortable. These subtle changes can reveal a wealth of information in high-stakes situations, from interviews to negotiations. Napoleon Bonaparte was a master of eye contact. He used his piercing gaze to intimidate adversaries and command respect from his troops. This level of focus often disarmed those around him, making them feel both seen and unsettled. In your own interactions, try maintaining consistent but natural eye contact. Notice how others respond. Do they hold your gaze, look away, or avoid eye contact entirely? These reactions can offer clues about their confidence, interest, or discomfort. While we touched on micro-expressions earlier, it's worth revisiting this powerful technique with a more nuanced approach. Recognizing micro-expressions isn't just about spotting fleeting emotions, it's about understanding their context and significance. For example, imagine a friend flashes a micro-expression of anger during a seemingly light-hearted conversation. This doesn't necessarily mean they're angry with you. It could be a reaction to a memory or thought triggered by the discussion. Context is key. To refine your ability to detect micro-expressions, practice in controlled environments such as watching interviews or reality shows where emotions run high. Pause the video to analyze facial expressions, then consider the context. This practice will sharpen your observational skills and help you interpret these subtle cues more accurately in real-life situations. Detecting incongruence, when words and actions clash. One of the most telling signs in human behavior is incongruence, a mismatch between what someone says and how they act. This is where body language and verbal communication diverge, revealing hidden truths. Imagine someone assures you they're confident about a decision, but their body tells a different story. They avoid eye contact, fidget, and shift their weight nervously. These discrepancies suggest that their words may not align with their true feelings. Confucius emphasized the importance of congruence, teaching that harmony between words and actions is a sign of integrity. By observing incongruence in others, you can gain deeper insights into their character and intentions. To detect incongruence, pay attention to baseline behavior. Once you've established how someone typically acts, deviations become easier to spot. When words and actions don't align, trust the actions. They're often more reliable indicators of the truth. The role of space and proximity. Proxemics, or the study of personal space, is another critical aspect of reading people. The distance someone maintains during an interaction can signal their comfort level, intentions, and relationship dynamics. For instance, a colleague who stands unusually close during a conversation might be signaling trust or intimacy. Conversely, someone who steps back when you approach may feel uncomfortable or defensive. Cultural norms also play a role in proxemics. In some cultures, close physical proximity is a sign of warmth and connection, while in others it's considered intrusive. Understanding these nuances can help you interpret behavior more accurately. Julius Caesar understood the power of proximity in building alliances. By physically positioning himself close to his allies, he fostered a sense of trust and camaraderie, strengthening his influence within the Roman Senate. To practice this technique, observe how people adjust their distance in different contexts. Note how proximity changes based on relationships, emotions, or settings. This awareness will enhance your ability to gauge comfort and connection. Empathy and detachment, a philosophical balance. As you hone your skills in reading people, it's essential to balance empathy with detachment. Empathy allows you to connect with others and understand their emotions, while detachment ensures that you don't internalize their stress or negativity. Stoicism teaches the importance of this balance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By staying grounded in your own perspective, you can observe others without being swayed by their emotions. Empathy, on the other hand, is central to Confucian philosophy, which emphasizes the importance of understanding and harmony in relationships. Combining these two approaches allows you to read people effectively while maintaining your own emotional equilibrium. As we reach the final leg of our journey into the art of reading people without them knowing, it's time to bring theory into practice. Understanding human behavior is powerful, but the true value lies in applying this knowledge to improve relationships, navigate conflicts, and achieve your goals. In this final section, we'll explore real-life scenarios where these techniques shine, analyze how historical figures mastered them, and discuss how they can help you thrive in your personal and professional life. The social chameleon, adapting to any situation. Imagine walking into a room filled with strangers. Within moments, you can sense the mood, identify the most influential individuals, and adjust your approach accordingly. This ability to adapt is the hallmark of a social chameleon, someone who uses observational skills to seamlessly integrate into any environment. Start by scanning the room for dominant body language. Who stands tall with open gestures? Who commands attention without saying much? These individuals are likely the influencers in the group. Pay attention to their tone, topics of interest, and energy level. Matching these subtly, not mimicking but aligning, creates a sense of connection and rapport. Historical figures like Benjamin Franklin were adept social chameleons. Franklin's ability to read and adapt to people helped him negotiate alliances during the American Revolution. By understanding the cultural nuances and personalities of French diplomats, he won their trust and support. To practice this skill, observe how people interact in various settings. from casual gatherings to formal meetings. Note their pace of speech, choice of words, and non-verbal cues. Adapting to these can make you more relatable and persuasive. Conflict is inevitable, but the ability to read people can turn tense situations into opportunities for resolution. By understanding the underlying emotions and motivations driving the conflict, you can address the root cause rather than the surface issue. Let's say a colleague seems unusually hostile during a meeting. Instead of reacting defensively, observe their body language and tone. Are they crossing their arms, avoiding eye contact, or speaking in short, clipped sentences? These signals might indicate frustration or insecurity. Acknowledging their emotions without judgment can diffuse tension. For example, saying, "It seems like something's on your mind. Would you like to talk about it?" shows empathy and opens the door for constructive dialogue. Nelson Mandela was a master of conflict resolution through empathy and observation. During South Africa's transition from apartheid, he read the fears of both sides, those clinging to power and those demanding change. By addressing their concerns with understanding, he fostered unity and avoided widespread violence. In your own life, approach conflicts with curiosity rather than judgment. Observe not just what people say, but how they say it. This deeper understanding allows you to find solutions that satisfy everyone involved. The power of influence. Reading to lead. Leadership requires more than issuing commands. It demands understanding, empathy, and influence. By reading people effectively, you can inspire trust, motivate action, and foster loyalty. Consider a team member who seems disengaged. Their lack of eye contact and slouched posture suggest low morale. Instead of reprimanding them, approach the situation with curiosity. Ask open-ended questions like, "How are you feeling about the current project?" or "Is there anything I can do to support you?" These questions show that you value their input and well-being. One of the greatest examples of leadership through understanding was Abraham Lincoln. During the Civil War, Lincoln often visited his troops to observe their morale firsthand. By reading their emotions and addressing their concerns directly, he earned their unwavering loyalty and commitment. To apply this in your leadership journey, practice active listening. Pay attention not just to what's being said, but to how it's being communicated. Use this information to tailor your approach, ensuring that your team feels heard and supported. Dating and relationships, building deeper connections. In the realm of personal relationships, the ability to read people can create stronger, more meaningful connections. By understanding your partner's unspoken needs and emotions, you can foster trust and intimacy. For example, suppose your partner is unusually quiet after a long day. Instead of pressing them to talk, observe their behavior. Are they withdrawing to process their thoughts, or do they seem tense and in need of reassurance? Responding appropriately, whether by giving them space or offering comfort, shows emotional intelligence and strengthens your bond. Cleopatra, the legendary queen of Egypt, was known for her ability to captivate and connect with those around her. By observing their desires and insecurities, she built alliances and maintained her influence in a turbulent political landscape. To cultivate this skill, practice mindfulness in your interactions. Pay attention to subtle changes in tone, posture, or facial expressions. These cues often reveal more about someone's feelings than words ever could. Negotiation. Mastery, using insight to win. Negotiation is as much about understanding the other party as it is about presenting your case. By reading people effectively, you can anticipate objections, identify leverage points, and craft proposals that resonate. Before entering a negotiation, observe your counterpart's demeanor. Are they confident or hesitant? eager, or reserved. These initial impressions can guide your approach. During the conversation, watch for signs of agreement or resistance. A subtle nod might indicate alignment, while crossed arms suggest defensiveness. Henry Kissinger, a master negotiator, often relied on keen observation to achieve diplomatic breakthroughs. By understanding the motivations and fears of foreign leaders, he found common ground and secured agreements that seemed impossible. In your negotiations, combine observation with strategic questioning. For instance, asking, "What's most important to you in this deal?" reveals priorities and opens the door for collaboration. Reading people is not just a skill, it's a philosophy. It embodies the Stoic principle of understanding others without being consumed by their emotions. It reflects Confucian ideals of harmony and connection, and it channels the wisdom of history's greatest leaders who used their insights to shape the world. As you apply these techniques, remember that mastery takes time. Practice patience, cultivate empathy, and stay committed to the pursuit of understanding. The more you observe, the clearer the human tapestry becomes, revealing patterns that guide your interactions and elevate your life. In the words of Seneca, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." Let your observations lead not just to advantage, but to appreciation for the complexity, vulnerability, and beauty of the human experience. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found value in these insights, I encourage you to share your own stories of connection and understanding. Together, we can build a world where empathy and awareness light the path forward. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day. In this video, we're diving into a fascinating and relatable topic. Why do certain people occupy our thoughts so persistently? And is it possible that they're thinking about us too? By applying Stoic philosophy, we'll uncover the reasons behind this mental fixation and discuss practical steps you can take, especially when these thoughts have a romantic flavor. Stick around until the end, where I'll share 10 powerful strategies to help manage these thoughts and potentially draw that person closer into your life. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We've all experienced moments when someone seems to dominate our mind, whether during work, study, or leisure. This preoccupation can become overwhelming. According to the Stoics, mastering our internal responses is essential for living a virtuous life. So when this person's image repeatedly invades our thoughts, we have a chance to practice serenity and control over our emotions. The question of whether this person is also thinking of us often lingers. Interestingly, concepts from modern physics like quantum entanglement suggest that everything in the universe is interconnected. Similarly, the Stoics believed in a universal interconnection, hinting that our lives are indeed linked with others, even across great distances. This person could be anyone, a friend, a co-worker, or someone you have deep feelings for. The intensity of these thoughts can vary, but Stoic philosophy teaches us to maintain our composure and focus on our own virtue, regardless of external emotions. In romantic scenarios, these thoughts can be even more intense and emotionally charged, especially if they involve someone we've lost or someone who feels out of reach. The Stoics would urge us to differentiate between our perceptions and reality, reminding us not to let our emotions overtake our rational mind. When someone dominates our thoughts, it may be a signal to examine our inner response to these feelings. The Stoics emphasized rigorous mental discipline, encouraging us to question whether our thoughts are grounded in reality or fueled by unfulfilled desires. By turning our attention inward and honestly assessing our motivations and emotions, we can gain a clearer understanding of why this person occupies so much space in our mind. Through this introspection, we might discover that while our mind is clouded with doubts and insecurities, our heart may sense a genuine connection, something that transcends the immediate situation. Instead of obsessing over whether this person thinks of us, the Stoics guide us to use this experience to strengthen our character. By engaging in reflection and meditation, we can channel our mental energy more constructively, preparing ourselves to accept any outcome with grace, whether it leads to mutual feelings or the acceptance of emotional independence. Now, I'm going to introduce a technique rooted in Stoic wisdom that can help manage these persistent thoughts and perhaps pave the way for a more meaningful connection with the person in question. This method involves visualization and affirmations that empower us to focus on what we can control, our own attitudes and responses. The first step is to recognize when our thoughts are becoming obsessive. Rather than allowing these thoughts to drain our mental energy, we can visualize ourselves as masters of our own minds, releasing these thoughts into the universe in a way that no longer burdens us. Next, we shift our focus to affirming our resilience and independence, reminding ourselves of our ability to find joy and contentment regardless of others' actions or thoughts. By doing this, we not only manage our tendency to obsess over others, but also fortify ourselves to face any situation with stoic calm. This practice not only aids in managing thoughts about that person, but also enhances our ability to live a fulfilling life aligned with Stoic principles, self-control, resilience, and practical wisdom. We've explored how our thoughts about another person can deeply impact our emotional and mental state. Now, as we continue on this journey of self-discovery and self-mastery, I'll introduce 10 practical Stoic lessons. These lessons will help us build the resilience and wisdom needed to navigate these complex situations, all while applying Stoic philosophy to achieve peace and balance in our lives. First lesson, cultivating emotional resilience. The fourth Stoic lesson emphasizes the importance of cultivating emotional resilience, a critical skill for navigating the uncertainty of others' thoughts and feelings. This resilience enables us to maintain serenity and clear thinking, even when faced with persistent doubts about whether someone is thinking of us. Stoic philosophy teaches us to strengthen our spirit amid emotional fluctuations that such thoughts can bring. Often, someone's behavior or silence can lead us to endlessly question their thoughts about us, causing significant anxiety and emotional distress. However, the Stoics remind us that the goal is not to avoid challenges, but to face them with balance and inner strength. Emotional resilience is not about avoiding the impact of these situations, but about how we respond to them in a constructive, balanced way. The first step in developing this resilience is recognizing that our emotions are natural responses to expectations and that we can manage them. While we cannot control another person's thoughts, we do have complete control over how we interpret and respond to them. For instance, if we worry about whether someone is thinking of us, we can choose to see this concern as an opportunity to examine and overcome our insecurities. Practicing Stoic self-questioning, reflecting on our emotional reactions and questioning their validity and usefulness, helps us develop a more objective, less reactive perspective. This allows us to face emotionally charged situations with greater calm and decisiveness. Visualization is another key technique for building emotional resilience. By mentally preparing for scenarios where our feelings might not be reciprocated, we reduce the fear of the unknown and reinforce our ability to remain stable regardless of external circumstances. Gratitude also plays a crucial role in developing emotional resilience. By focusing on what we are grateful for, we shift our perspective from what we lack to what we have, which diminishes the negative impact of obsessive thoughts about others. Finally, cultivating healthy relationships and supportive communities is essential. Sharing our concerns with trusted individuals who offer alternative perspectives and support can be incredibly enriching. These relationships remind us that while we may not control every aspect of life, we are not alone in our struggles. In summary, Stoic practices help us develop emotional resilience, equipping us to face not only worries about others' thoughts, but also any challenges life presents. This lesson teaches us to maintain our integrity and serenity, building inner strength to live according to our principles, regardless of the emotional storms that may arise. Second lesson: the practice of constancy. The final Stoic lesson explores the practice of constancy, an essential skill for maintaining consistency in our thoughts and actions, regardless of external circumstances. Constancy teaches us to stay committed to virtue and wisdom, even when faced with doubts about others' thoughts or when our own thoughts become obsessive or troubling. In Stoicism, constancy means maintaining a steady course of action and commitment to core values, despite emotional challenges or situations that test our resilience. It requires continuous dedication to self-development and self-regulation, ensuring that our responses are guided by principles rather than fleeting impulses. To cultivate constancy, it's crucial to develop a routine of Stoic practices that reinforce discipline and focus. These might include daily meditation, reflecting on Stoic teachings, and regularly examining our actions and motivations. By integrating these practices into daily life, we strengthen our ability to stay true to our ideals, regardless of emotional fluctuations or external distractions. A vital component of constancy is accepting change as an inevitable part of life. While our emotions and circumstances may fluctuate, our adherence to Stoic principles and commitment to virtue should remain unwavering. This understanding helps us find stability within ourselves, allowing us to face uncertainty and challenges with a resilience that is both firm and flexible. Constancy also involves perseverance, continuing on our path even when immediate results are not visible or when our efforts seem unreciprocated. This is especially relevant when we persistently think about someone and wonder if they think of us. Perseverance keeps us focused on our growth and well-being, rather than getting caught up in others' thoughts or actions. Additionally, constancy requires developing patience, a virtue that teaches us to accept that some things take time to resolve or understand. By cultivating patience, we allow processes to unfold naturally without forcing outcomes or reacting impulsively to momentary emotions. Finally, the practice of constancy emphasizes valuing consistency over complacency. This means being willing to continually evaluate and re-evaluate our actions and motivations to ensure they align with Stoic values. This approach not only strengthens our personal integrity, but also sets an example for others, demonstrating that it's possible to live a life of purpose and peace, no matter the emotional storms we encounter. By mastering constancy, we secure our emotional and ethical stability and contribute to a world where wisdom and virtue guide human existence. This final lesson underscores the importance of unwavering dedication to Stoic philosophy, equipping us to navigate life's challenges with confidence and clarity. Third lesson: the virtue of acceptance. In Stoicism, accepting things as they truly are is essential for developing virtue and personal tranquility. This lesson explores acceptance, especially when we can't stop thinking about someone. Our minds often fixate on others, creating expectations and desires that disrupt our inner peace. The Stoics teach that true freedom lies in accepting that we can only control our own thoughts and actions, not those of others. When faced with the unease of incessant thoughts about someone, Stoicism encourages deep introspection on what is truly within our control. We must distinguish between our actions and external events beyond our reach. For example, while we can't ensure that the person we're thinking about also thinks of us, we can manage how we respond to that uncertainty and how it affects our emotional state. Stoic acceptance is an active process of refocusing our attention on our behavior and emotional responses. This involves cultivating detachment from outcomes beyond our influence, reducing anxiety and frustration. By practicing this virtue, we gain greater serenity and clarity in our social and emotional interactions. To implement acceptance in daily life, start by observing when your peace is disturbed by obsessive thoughts. Ask yourself, what is within my control in this situation? This helps redirect your energy from unproductive worries to constructive actions and self-improvement. Through this practice, you cultivate patience and emotional strength, which are crucial for navigating life's challenges with balance and wisdom. Strengthening Stoic acceptance through meditation and daily reflection helps internalize the idea that our happiness and peace shouldn't depend solely on others' actions or thoughts. This approach allows us to live more centered lives where our emotions align with our deepest values. By embracing acceptance as a central part of life, we become more adaptable to change and challenges and more compassionate toward others. Fourth lesson, mastering the art of reflection. The seventh Stoic lesson highlights the critical role of reflection in managing persistent thoughts about others, particularly when we wonder if they are also thinking about us. Stoic reflection goes beyond mere contemplation. It's a meditative practice that deepens our understanding of our thoughts and emotions, enabling us to respond in a controlled manner that aligns with our values. The essence of reflection lies in introspection, examining the causes and motivations behind our recurring thoughts about someone. This practice helps us recognize patterns in our emotional responses and question the validity and usefulness of these thoughts. Through reflection, we often discover that our concerns about whether someone else is thinking of us are amplified by our own insecurities or desires for validation. To practice Stoic reflection effectively, it's beneficial to set aside daily time for introspection. This can involve journaling about thoughts and feelings related to daily interactions or engaging in focused meditation, observing thoughts without clinging to them. The key is to approach reflection with an open mind and a willingness to learn and grow, rather than to judge or criticize. A crucial aspect of Stoic reflection is the concept of reflective detachment, viewing our thoughts and emotions as if they belong to someone else. This detachment allows for a more objective and less emotionally charged evaluation, reducing the emotional impact of our thoughts and fostering a calmer response. Reflection is further enhanced by analyzing our reactions to past situations, especially those dominated by anxiety or obsession with others' thoughts. By reviewing these experiences from a Stoic perspective, we can learn valuable lessons on how to handle similar situations in the future, avoiding repetitive patterns that lead to emotional imbalance. Regular reflection also sharpens mental clarity and focus, which are essential for maintaining serenity in the face of emotional challenges. With greater clarity, we can distinguish what truly matters from distractions or superficial concerns. Finally, reflection fosters gratitude and appreciation for our journey, even when faced with uncertainty about others' thoughts. By reflecting on our progress and the challenges we've overcome, we cultivate a sense of peace and satisfaction, independent of external circumstances. Mastering the art of reflection prepares us to manage thoughts about others more effectively, enriching our lives with a deeper understanding of who we are and what we truly value. This Stoic lesson is fundamental for anyone seeking to live a more intentional and less reactive life, grounded in self-awareness and inner peace. Fifth lesson: cultivating the philosophical perspective. The ninth Stoic lesson focuses on cultivating a philosophical perspective, especially when dealing with persistent thoughts about someone and questioning whether they also think of us. This Stoic teaching encourages us to adopt a broader, deeper view of life, helping us maintain control over our thoughts and emotions and reinforcing our ability to live wisely and serenely. Central to the Stoic philosophical perspective is the idea of understanding the nature of things, including our own thoughts and emotions, within the broader context of the universe. This perspective reminds us that our thoughts about others are just a small part of a much larger reality, and giving them excessive weight can divert us from the path of virtue and tranquility. To cultivate this perspective, it's helpful to practice placing personal concerns within a broader context. This can be achieved through meditation on the immensity of time and space, reflecting on how many of our daily problems, including concerns about whether someone is thinking of us, will seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things. This exercise is not meant to foster indifference, but to provide clarity about what truly deserves our attention and energy. A key aspect of the philosophical perspective is learning to differentiate between what is and what seems to be. Persistent thoughts are often fueled by distorted perceptions or unverified assumptions. By adopting a more critical, questioning approach, we can challenge these perceptions and seek a more accurate, grounded understanding of reality. This involves asking questions like, is there concrete evidence to support what I'm thinking? Or, am I interpreting this situation fairly and objectively? Moreover, this perspective encourages us to value personal growth and continuous learning above all. Every experience, including those involving persistent thoughts about others, should be viewed as an opportunity to learn something valuable about ourselves, others, or the nature of life. This approach transforms challenges into tools for personal improvement, motivating us to always seek wisdom and virtue in our responses. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write, "I have the power," so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Gratitude is also a crucial component of the Stoic philosophical perspective. By focusing on the things we are grateful for, we counter the tendency to obsess over negative concerns. Gratitude helps us recognize and appreciate the many positive aspects of our lives, balancing thoughts that might otherwise cause disruption and anxiety. Finally, cultivating a philosophical perspective involves embracing the idea that everything in life is temporary, including our thoughts and emotions. Recognizing the impermanence of our experiences allows us to maintain emotional distance from life's highs and lows, fostering a tranquility deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom. This lesson teaches us to approach life with a wisdom that transcends immediate concerns, enabling us to live with mental peace and clarity of purpose. By adopting this broader view, we enhance our ability to face any challenge with balance and confidence, cultivating a life aligned with the highest Stoic ideals. Sixth lesson: discernment and rational response. A crucial Stoic skill for managing persistent thoughts about someone is discernment, the ability to separate emotional perceptions from rational responses. This lesson focuses on using discernment to understand why certain thoughts overwhelm us and how to respond in a rational, Stoic manner. When caught in a cycle of thoughts about someone, we often wonder if they are thinking of us too, leading to emotional turmoil. The Stoics teach us to critically examine these impressions, questioning whether they are based on facts or mere desires. To practice discernment, recognize that your thoughts and emotions are automatic responses to stimuli, but your freedom lies in choosing how to react. Instead of letting thoughts about someone else consume you, approach them with detachment and objectivity. Daily reflection exercises strengthen discernment, helping you understand why certain thoughts affect you deeply and allowing you to respond in ways that align with Stoic values. This process helps you realize that while you can't control another person's thoughts, you can control the importance you place on them. Moreover, Stoic discernment involves mindfulness, observing thoughts and emotions without judgment. Becoming an observer of your mind allows you not to be carried away by disruptive thoughts, which is especially useful when obsessive thoughts might lead to impulsive behaviors or poorly considered decisions. Questioning the validity of assumptions is another key aspect of discernment. Too often we assume our feelings are mirrored by others, or that our desires are reciprocated without clear evidence. Stoicism challenges us to seek concrete proof before drawing conclusions, and to be ready to accept that our perceptions might be mistaken. Applying discernment in daily life also teaches us to value rational responses over emotional reactions. This doesn't mean suppressing feelings, but rather understanding their origins and consciously deciding how they will influence our actions. This allows for more thoughtful decisions and helps maintain a balanced mindset, even in the face of uncertainty or emotional challenges. By mastering Stoic discernment, we build resilience against the emotional turmoil caused by persistent thoughts about others. This makes us more capable of facing life's challenges with serenity and confidence, knowing that our happiness and peace depend not on the actions or thoughts of others, but on our ability to respond with clarity and virtue. Practicing discernment transforms our relationship with our thoughts and emotions, helping us respond in ways that align with our deepest values and commitment to a virtuous life. This improves our mental and emotional health and enhances the quality of our interactions and relationships, allowing us to be more present and engaged in a meaningful way. Seventh lesson, the art of impassibility. The sixth, Stoic lesson explores the art of impassibility, which focuses on maintaining calm and objectivity when persistent thoughts about others arise. This skill is crucial to prevent such thoughts from dominating our emotions and negatively impacting our quality of life, especially when we wonder if someone else is also thinking about us. Impassibility, or the ability to remain undisturbed by external emotions, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics teach us to aspire to a life where our emotions result from rational deliberations, not uncontrollable impulses. By developing impassibility, we learn to filter and control our emotional reactions, ensuring they align with our deepest values rather than being swayed by others' thoughts and actions. To practice impassibility, it's essential first to recognize that thoughts about whether someone is thinking of us often reflect our own insecurities and need for validation. By identifying the origin of these thoughts, we can begin questioning their relevance and truth. Asking yourself, what do these thoughts reveal about my own needs, helps you understand the underlying reasons and work on resolving internal issues. Meditation focused on acceptance is a practical exercise for developing impassibility. This involves sitting in silence, observing thoughts as they arise, and practicing accepting them without judgment or emotional engagement. The goal is not to suppress these thoughts, but to observe them as passing clouds in the sky of our mind, helping us disidentify from them and see that they hold no power unless we allow it. Affirmations that reinforce emotional and rational independence, such as "I control my inner peace," or "My emotions are chosen responses, not impulsive reactions," are also effective. When repeated daily, especially during anxious times, these affirmations help strengthen our resilience. Additionally, proactive visualization, mentally preparing to handle potentially disturbing situations calmly, can cultivate impassibility. This practice not only strengthens the mind against future disturbances, but also helps create a habit of responding with serenity and objectivity. Finally, engaging in activities requiring focus and dedication, such as sports, studying complex topics, or creative projects, reinforces our ability to maintain impassibility. These activities train the mind not to be easily disturbed by distractions or intrusive thoughts. By mastering the art of impassibility, we strengthen our emotional resilience and improve our ability to live according to our principles without being swayed by every thought or emotion that arises. This skill is essential for maintaining tranquility and objectivity in all aspects of life, enabling us to face challenges and uncertainties with confidence and clarity. Eighth lesson: reinforcing emotional self-sufficiency. The fifth Stoic lesson focuses on reinforcing emotional self-sufficiency, a crucial skill for maintaining stability amid uncertainty about others' thoughts. This self-sufficiency enables us to rely less on external validation and more on our own judgment and values, making it easier to deal with persistent thoughts about others, especially in romantic contexts where reciprocity of feelings is uncertain. Emotional self-sufficiency in Stoicism does not mean isolation or a lack of human connections. Instead, it refers to finding satisfaction and peace within ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. True freedom, according to Stoics, is the absence of uncontrolled emotional reactions that arise when we worry excessively about what others think. Recognizing that the pursuit of external validation is a common source of distress is the first step. Worrying about whether someone is thinking of us often stems from a desire for validation. However, this dependence can make us vulnerable to emotional upheaval, as it places our emotional control in another person's hands. To cultivate emotional self-sufficiency, Stoics recommend practices like morning and evening reflection, where we review our thoughts and actions, evaluating them against our own standards of virtue and wisdom. This practice reinforces the awareness that the approval we truly need is our own, reducing the need for external confirmation. Premeditation, where we anticipate possible scenarios like rejection or unreciprocated feelings, is another useful Stoic technique. By visualizing and rationally disarming these scenarios, we reduce their potential emotional impact. This strengthens our resilience and prepares us to face situations without despair or instability. Moreover, cultivating passions and interests that are inherently satisfying helps strengthen our emotional independence. This not only distracts us from unproductive worries about others' thoughts, but also enriches our lives, making others' opinions less significant. Finally, reinforcing emotional self-sufficiency involves cultivating virtues like courage and justice, enabling us to act in accordance with our principles, regardless of external opinions. Practicing these virtues affirms our commitment to a life that values integrity and self-control, fundamental to Stoic living. By mastering emotional self-sufficiency, we free ourselves from the need for external validation and gain the ability to live with true freedom and satisfaction, This lesson teaches us to value our own opinions above all others, providing a solid foundation for handling any emotional situation with balance and confidence. Ninth lesson: the power of presence. Practicing presence and focusing on the present moment is vital for those struggling with persistent thoughts about someone else. In Stoicism, being present not only enhances our ability to live in the now, but also alleviates the burden of worries about what we can't control, such as another person's thoughts. This lesson is particularly relevant when we find ourselves repeatedly thinking about someone and wondering if they think of us. Instead of getting lost in such thoughts, which can lead to anxiety, Stoicism encourages us to observe these thoughts without judgment and without letting them dominate our emotions. To practice presence, you can use mindfulness techniques, like consciously observing your thoughts and emotions as they occur. Simple practices like deep breathing and asking, "What am I feeling right now?" help connect you with your current state, bringing clarity and reducing the impact of obsessive thoughts. Engaging in activities that require full attention, such as art, writing, or exercise, also helps draw the mind away from unproductive worries. Presence in interactions means fully engaging in the moment rather than seeking signs that someone is thinking of you. This approach not only improves relationships, but also builds emotional independence, allowing you to live a more fulfilled life based on your actions and present choices. 10th lesson: strengthening conscious communication. The 8th Stoic lesson emphasizes the importance of conscious communication, particularly when we find ourselves constantly thinking about someone and wondering if they also think of us. This lesson teaches us how to approach interactions in a way that fosters understanding, clarity, and mutual respect, reducing misunderstandings and the unnecessary assumptions that fuel our insecurities and anxieties. In Stoicism, conscious communication is more than just talking or listening. It's a mindful practice where every word and gesture is carefully considered. This approach is especially crucial when dealing with persistent thoughts about someone, as how we communicate can directly influence our feelings about those thoughts and the relationship itself. To practice conscious communication, we first need to learn active listening, paying attention not only to the words spoken, but also to the emotional context and intentions behind them. This allows us to respond more appropriately and sensitively, alleviating many concerns about whether we are understood or whether our feelings are reciprocated. Equally important is being clear and honest in our own communication. This means expressing our thoughts and feelings openly and directly, avoiding ambiguities that can lead to misunderstandings. Clear communication not only facilitates more effective dialogue, but also helps put our concerns into perspective, reducing the tendency to assume that others know what we are thinking or feeling without us having clearly expressed it. Patience is another vital aspect of conscious communication. Persistent thoughts about someone often stem from a desire for immediate reciprocity or validation. However, by slowing down and allowing conversations and relationships to develop naturally, we create space for deeper, more genuine understandings to emerge, which builds stronger foundations for our interactions and reduces anxiety about how others perceive us. Conscious communication also involves handling criticism or negative feedback constructively. Rather than reacting defensively or emotionally, Stoics view criticism as an opportunity for growth. This approach not only improves interpersonal relationships, but also strengthens our emotional resilience, enabling us to maintain calm and objectivity even in tense situations. Beyond improving direct communication, conscious communication involves refining our body language and non-verbal cues. The alignment between what we say and how we act is crucial for conveying our true intentions and ensuring our messages are received as intended. This is particularly important in romantic relationships where inconsistencies between words and actions can lead to confusion and misunderstandings. Strengthening conscious communication not only enhances how we interact with others, but also how we relate to ourselves. By being mindful of our own words and actions, we cultivate greater self-awareness and self-control, essential traits for anyone striving to live a Stoic life of virtue and emotional balance. Mastering the art of conscious communication is fundamental not only for resolving persistent thoughts about others, but also for enriching all aspects of social and personal life, enabling us to build relationships grounded in honesty, respect, and mutual understanding. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day. Have you ever felt like you're swimming against the current, fighting against a constant flow of negative influences that seem to drain your energy? It's an exhausting feeling, isn't it? But I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. Many of us have experienced that internal struggle, surrounded by people and circumstances that seem to undermine our happiness and fulfillment. But what can we do about it? How can we navigate these turbulent waters of life and find a sense of authenticity and fulfillment? One key lies in deeply reflecting on the people around us and the impact they have on us. Do they lift us up or tear us down? This simple yet profound question can be the starting point for an honest assessment of our personal relationships. Do we surround ourselves with people who inspire us, support us, and help us grow? Or do we allow negative individuals to drain our energy and undermine our emotional and mental well-being? If you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's start this transformative journey together. Are you ready? This is where Stoic wisdom can illuminate our path. Stoics teach us that we can't control external circumstances, but we can control our response to them. This includes choosing the people we surround ourselves with and the boundaries we set in our relationships. By adopting a Stoic perspective, we can learn to wisely discern who are the companions that truly lift us up and help us reach our highest potential, and who are those whose influence is detrimental to our growth and well-being. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting all ties with the people around us, but rather establishing healthy boundaries and cultivating more authentic and meaningful relationships. It's about recognizing our own worth and not compromising our values for the sake of pleasing others. In doing so, we empower ourselves to create an inner circle of companions who nourish us, challenge us, and help us become the best version of ourselves. It's crucial to take the time to pause and reflect on our personal relationships. What kind of energy do they bring into our life? How do we feel after interacting with them? These questions can serve as a guide to assess the quality of our connections and make informed decisions about who we want to share our time and energy with. By consciously choosing our companions and establishing healthy boundaries, we're taking a significant step towards a more fulfilling and authentic life. We're reclaiming our personal power and taking responsibility for our own happiness and well-being. It's an act of authenticity and self-affirmation that allows us to live in harmony with our deepest values and aspirations. Of course, this process isn't always easy. It may require courage and determination to face difficult relationships and set clear boundaries. But the reward is worth it. By freeing ourselves from the weight of toxic relationships and cultivating more positive and enriching connections, we're paving the way for a more fulfilling and meaningful life. So I invite you to join me on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. Imagine time as an invaluable resource and energy as a finite treasure we possess. Both are resources we must manage wisely to live a fulfilling and authentic life. Yet, in the whirlwind of modern life, it's easy to lose sight of this perspective. We find ourselves constantly bombarded by external demands, whether at work, in our personal relationships, or in our daily responsibilities. In this context, the importance of setting boundaries becomes crucial. But what exactly are personal boundaries? Boundaries are like borders that delineate our personal territory, including our time, energy, and emotions. They are essential for protecting us from burnout and preserving our physical, emotional, and mental integrity. In a world that often glorifies constant busyness and overexploitation, setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but a declaration of self-respect and recognition of our own worth. It means saying yes to what nourishes us and brings us joy, and saying no to what drains us and causes discomfort. It's recognizing that to genuinely care for others, we must first take care of ourselves. This balance between giving and receiving is key to staying healthy and happy. By setting clear and healthy boundaries, we're building a solid foundation for more authentic and meaningful relationships, where mutual respect and understanding are the fundamental pillars. The process of setting boundaries begins with self-awareness. We need to take the time to reflect on our values, needs, and priorities. What's important to us? What are our goals and dreams? What makes us feel good, and what drains us? These questions will help us identify the boundaries we need to set in our lives. Once we've identified our boundaries, the next step is to communicate them clearly and assertively to others. This can be a challenge, especially if we're used to pleasing others or are afraid of conflict. However, it's crucial to learn to say no when necessary, without feeling guilty or ashamed. Saying no is not a personal rejection, but an affirmation of our own boundaries and needs. By establishing boundaries, we grant ourselves a sense of freedom and peace of mind. It allows us to take control of our lives and choose how we want to invest our time and energy. We free ourselves from the weight of external expectations and allow ourselves to live according to our own values and desires. It's important to remember that the quality of life is not measured by the number of tasks completed, but by the quality of the experiences we choose to have. Setting boundaries allows us to focus on what truly matters and gives us the opportunity to fully enjoy life. So, I invite you to reflect on what boundaries are necessary to protect your time, energy, and mental health. Take charge of your life and define the boundaries that will guide your path towards a more fulfilling and authentic life. Remember, setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but an act of self-love and self-care. Your well-being deserves it. In the world we live in, our words hold significant power. They have the ability to influence our environment and our relationships, both positively and negatively. Every word we speak, every opinion we express, has the potential to create connection or division, to build or destroy. That's why it's crucial that we learn to express our feelings and opinions with caution and wisdom. From the Stoic perspective, we understand that we have control over our thoughts and emotions. This is a form of personal freedom that allows us to choose our responses wisely rather than reacting impulsively to a situation. We can take a moment to reflect and respond in a way that is constructive and respectful. In the digital age we live in, communication has become faster and more accessible than ever. However, this ease of communication can also lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. It's easy to get carried away in the heat of the moment and say something we later regret. That's why it's important to moderate our expression online and offline, to preserve our valuable relationships and avoid unnecessary harm. Empathy and understanding are key to authentic and respectful communication. Even when we disagree with someone, we can express our viewpoints in a way that acknowledges and respects the other person's perspective. Actively listening and trying to understand the other person's viewpoint before responding is a practice that can strengthen our relationships and foster human connection. Imagine our words as the water of a river, fluid and adaptable, but also potentially destructive if they overflow. We must learn to channel our words carefully, recognizing their power and responsibility. It's important to remember that it's not just about what we say, but also how we say it and the impact it has on others. In a world that values speed and efficiency, it's easy to forget the importance of depth and quality in our interactions. Instead of simply conveying information, we should strive to communicate in a way that is meaningful and enriching. This means taking the time to truly listen to others and share our own experiences in an authentic and honest way. Inner calm and the effort to understand before being understood are practices that can improve our communication and our relationships. When we disagree with someone, we can choose to respond from a place of mutual respect and openness, rather than closing ourselves off to the possibility of constructive dialogue. The Stoic approach to disagreement emphasizes respect and the pursuit of shared growth through dialogue. Instead of seeing disagreement as a threat, we see it as an opportunity to learn and grow together. This requires humility and a willingness to recognize that we don't have all the answers and that we can benefit from exchanging ideas and experiences. Authentic communication is rooted in vulnerability and courage. It means having the courage to share our true thoughts and feelings, even when we know they might be difficult to express or hear. This allows us to connect more deeply with others and discover our own voice in the process. Imagine we are gardeners of our words, choosing them with care, just as a gardener tends to their garden with patience, passion, and intention. We must nurture our interactions with others. Every word we speak has the potential to plant seeds of love, understanding, and connection. So let's choose our words with wisdom and love, and cultivate relationships that flourish and thrive. Love, that complex and beautiful emotion that has inspired poets, writers, and artists throughout the centuries, is a powerful force that can transform lives, but can also bring challenges and difficulties. In the context of Stoicism, love is not merely an uncontrollable emotion, but a conscious and free act that seeks fulfillment for both oneself and the loved one. From the Stoic perspective, love is seen as a force that must be cultivated with wisdom and moderation. It's about loving intensely, but in a way that allows for the freedom and independence of both parties. To love without possession or control, but from a place of mutual respect and acceptance of each individual's uniqueness. True love, according to the Stoics, is not one that limits or suffocates, but one that gives wings and allows each person to be who they truly are. It's a love that does not seek to cling or control, but that celebrates the autonomy and freedom of the other. It's about loving with an open mind and an unattached heart, expecting nothing in return but the happiness and well-being of the loved one. To love freely is synonymous with loving wisely. It's about prioritizing the choice to be together from a place of personal fulfillment, not need. It's recognizing that each individual is responsible for their own happiness, and that love should not be used as a means to fill emotional voids or satisfy selfish needs. The analogy of a bird is useful to illustrate this concept of free love. Just as a caged bird loses its ability to fly, possessive and controlling love can stifle the growth and freedom of the other person. On the other hand, loving freely means allowing the other to maintain their autonomy and explore their own path, while sharing together the journey of life. Stoics also accept the impermanence of love and understand that relationships can change over time. Every shared moment is valued as a precious gift, but it is also recognized that nothing in this life is permanent. This acceptance of reality allows us to love in a more authentic and detached manner, enjoying the present without clinging to the past or worrying about the future. It's essential to cultivate a love that enriches the other's life without creating dependencies. Sharing from individual completeness and celebrating the uniqueness of each person allows us to build healthy and enriching relationships that help us grow and become better versions of ourselves. The call is to love with an open heart, staying true to ourselves and seeking relationships that make us feel more alive and happy. When lived consciously and freely, love can be an inexhaustible source of joy and satisfaction. It's a precious gift that we must nurture and cultivate with love, respect, and gratitude. On the path of compassion and caring for others, we often face the challenge of balancing our willingness to help with the need to take care of ourselves. This delicate balance, known as selective compassion, is crucial for maintaining our emotional stability and mental health while seeking to make a difference in the world around us. Selective compassion involves a focused and conscious approach to helping others. We recognize that our energies and resources are limited, and therefore, we must carefully choose where and how we invest them. This selection is not about a lack of empathy or indifference, but about being realistic about our capabilities and priorities. It's essential to recognize our limitations to maximize our positive impact without compromising our well-being as individuals. We can't tackle all the world's problems or solve every difficulty we encounter. However, by being selective in our actions, we can concentrate our efforts where they are most effective and meaningful. The balance between offering effective help and maintaining our own stability and mental health is crucial. If we immerse ourselves too deeply in the suffering of others without taking care of ourselves, we risk emotional and physical burnout. Therefore, we must learn to set healthy boundaries and say no when necessary to preserve our integrity and long-term helping capacity. Sometimes selective compassion means accepting that we can't do everything. Like using a flashlight instead of turning on all the lights, we choose to focus our attention and energy on specific areas where we can make a difference. This doesn't mean ignoring the suffering around us, but recognizing that our actions are more effective when they are directed and deliberate. The risk of personal burnout is real when we try to take on more than our capabilities and resources allow. As we strive to be a positive force in the lives of others, we must remember that we also need to take care of ourselves. This may mean taking time to rest, seeking support when needed, and establishing clear boundaries in our relationships. Being well ourselves is fundamental to being able to offer effective help to others when necessary. If we don't take care of our own health and well-being, our ability to help others will be compromised. Therefore, self-care is not an act of selfishness, but an integral part of being able to contribute meaningfully to the well-being of others. Selective compassion allows us to stay strong and healthy, enabling us to be a positive force in the long term. By being selective in our helping actions, we can avoid burnout and remain committed to our causes and communities over time. This allows us to be a constant and reliable support for those in need. Ultimately, selective compassion invites us to reflect on our role and capacity to help in the world. It reminds us that compassion is not just about giving all of ourselves, but about finding a sustainable balance that allows us to be a continuous positive force. By prioritizing conscious action and self-care, we can cultivate a compassion that endures over time and benefits both others and ourselves. In our lives, the people around us play a fundamental role in our well-being and personal development. Every interaction, every relationship leaves a mark on us, whether positive or negative. From the moment we are born, we are influenced by those around us, and this influence continues throughout our life. From the Stoic perspective, we understand the importance of self-control and the pursuit of inner peace, regardless of external chaos. This teaching reminds us that we can't control the actions or attitudes of others, but we can control how we respond to them. It is in this space of self-control where we find true freedom and serenity. One of the bravest decisions we can make is to walk away from toxic relationships. These relationships can be like an anchor dragging us down, preventing us from growing and thriving. By freeing ourselves from these negative influences, we make room for healthier and more enriching relationships that help us reach our full potential. Identifying and eliminating negative influences in our lives requires honesty and personal reflection. We must be willing to look within ourselves and recognize how certain people and situations are affecting our quality of life. This can be a difficult and painful process, but it is essential for our long-term growth and well-being. Imagine people as tranquil rivers or storms in our lives. Positive people are like tranquil rivers that nourish us and give us life, while toxic people are like storms that drag us down and leave us exhausted. It's important to surround ourselves with people who lift us up and inspire us, rather than those who drag us down. The metaphor of a garden is also useful to describe this process of tending to our social environment. Just like a gardener cares for their garden by removing weeds, we must weed out toxic influences from our lives to allow positive and healthy relationships to flourish. Ridding ourselves of toxic friendships is not only an act of self-care, but also a step towards personal discovery and a more serene life. By freeing ourselves from relationships that weigh us down, we can open ourselves up to new opportunities and experiences that help us grow and thrive. It's important to evaluate the voices and presences in our life, considering their impact on our well-being and growth. We must ask ourselves if the people around us are helping us to be the best version of ourselves, or if they are holding us back and limiting our potential. Finally, we call to action to make conscious changes to our social circle in search of a better quality of life. This may involve setting clear boundaries with toxic people, seeking out new friendships that inspire and support us, and cultivating meaningful relationships that help us achieve our goals and dreams. Remember, our lives are too precious to waste on relationships that do not nourish us or help us grow. Life is full of challenges and adversities that, although they may seem overwhelming at the moment, offer unique opportunities for personal growth and resilience. Inspired by Stoic philosophy, we can approach these trials with courage and determination, turning them into stepping stones towards a stronger and more resilient self. Stoics teach us that adversity is not an insurmountable obstacle, but an essential part of the human experience. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to demonstrate our adaptability and inner strength. Instead of succumbing to despair, we can use these difficult moments as catalysts for our personal growth. One of the keys to cultivating resilience is changing our perception of obstacles. Instead of seeing them as insurmountable barriers, Stoics encourage us to view them as opportunities for learning and development. Every challenge is a vital question that challenges us to find creative solutions and to discover new strengths within ourselves. Acceptance plays a crucial role in this process. While it's natural to resist difficulties and wish they would disappear, true wisdom lies in recognizing that challenges are an inevitable part of life. By accepting this truth, we can free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and focus on how we can grow and thrive despite adverse circumstances. Behind every challenge, there are valuable lessons waiting to be discovered. Whether in moments of pain, failure, or loss, we can find profound insights into ourselves and the world around us. These lessons allow us to develop a greater understanding of our own strengths and weaknesses, as well as a deeper appreciation for the beauty and fragility of life. In addition to strengthening our sense of self-awareness, facing adversity also strengthens our emotional control. By learning to manage during difficult times, we develop a greater ability to remain calm and composed in stressful situations. This skill is crucial for resilience, as it allows us to face challenges with clarity and determination. Every time we overcome adversity, we build a stronger and more resilient version of ourselves. By confronting our fears and challenging our limitations, we become more confident in our abilities and better prepared to face future obstacles. This transformation allows us to live with greater confidence and purpose, knowing that we are capable of overcoming any challenge life presents us. Finally, adopting a Stoic perspective helps us transform fear and uncertainty into strength and clarity. Instead of letting fear paralyze us, we can use it as motivation to act with courage and determination. Uncertainty no longer scares us, but drives us to seek our inner truth and move forward with confidence in the future. On the journey of life, we encounter the important lesson of prioritizing ourselves and being authentic, a teaching that aligns with the principles of Stoicism. This approach is not an act of selfishness, as some might think, but a vital necessity to reach our maximum potential and be a stronger and more balanced version of ourselves. Authenticity and honesty in our interactions are fundamental to building solid and meaningful relationships. From the Stoic perspective, being authentic means being true to oneself and living according to our values and principles. When we act authentically, we convey trust and mutual respect, strengthening the bonds with those around us. Taking care of oneself is an essential component of authenticity. Imagine a glass of water. Before being able to share water with others, that glass must first be full. Similarly, before we can offer support and care to others, we must ensure that our own needs are met. This is not an act of selfishness, but of wisdom and responsibility. Establishing healthy boundaries is an integral part of this process. Saying no when necessary not only protects our well-being, but also sets clear expectations and promotes more authentic and respectful relationships. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "mind over body," so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Sometimes we need to remember that we can't do it all. It's okay to prioritize ourselves at certain times. Daily small acts of self-care and personal choice are equally important. Taking time to rest without guilt, engaging in activities that bring us joy, and being honest in our relationships are powerful ways to cultivate authenticity and strengthen our sense of self-esteem and well-being. The positive ripple effect of prioritizing ourselves is not limited to our own well-being. When we take care of ourselves, we create an environment that encourages others to do the same. Our authenticity and commitment to self-care inspire those around us to take similar steps to improve their own quality of life. From the Stoic perspective, authenticity and self-care are not just individual goals, but foundations for a meaningful and fulfilling life, both personally and communally. By living according to our values and taking care of our needs, we contribute not only to our own well-being, but also to the well-being of those around us. In short, Prioritizing ourselves and being authentic from a Stoic perspective involves recognizing the importance of taking care of our own health and emotional well-being, establishing healthy boundaries, and living according to our values and principles. By doing so, we not only become a stronger and more balanced version of ourselves, but we also create a positive impact on the world around us. Gratitude is one of the most powerful practices we can incorporate into our lives. It goes beyond a simple expression of thanks. It's a profound acknowledgement of the value of people, experiences, and small details that shape our existence. When we practice gratitude, we fundamentally shift our perspective, turning obstacles into opportunities and fostering a state of contentment with the present. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning and, instead of being carried away by the day's worries, take a moment to be thankful for being alive. You notice the sunlight filtering through the window and feel grateful for another day full of possibilities. This small act of gratitude can set the tone for the rest of your day, changing how you face challenges and relate to others. Gratitude is incorporated into our daily lives by paying attention to the small, everyday gifts, from a kind smile to the aroma of morning coffee. Every moment becomes an opportunity to recognize and appreciate the beauty around us. By doing so, we enrich our life experience and strengthen our relationships, as expressing gratitude improves and deepens the bonds we share with others. Even in the midst of adversity, gratitude can be a beacon of light. Each challenge or difficult situation can be seen as a teacher bringing valuable lessons for our personal growth. Instead of lamenting what we don't have, we can find joy in what is present in our lives. This emotional and spiritual resilience allows us to be flexible and adapt to circumstances, strengthening our connection with others and the universe. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate gratitude is to start each day with a moment of reflection to give thanks. This simple ritual can gradually transform our lives toward greater light, peace, and fulfillment. As we incorporate gratitude into our daily lives, we realize that it's not just an exercise for specific moments, but a life philosophy, a continuous path that teaches us to value every moment and breath. The practice of gratitude invites us to weave a personal journey of acknowledgement and appreciation. It reminds us that life is full of small wonders waiting to be discovered, and that every experience, positive or negative, has the potential to enrich our existence. By cultivating an attitude of gratitude, we open our minds and hearts to the abundance around us, transforming our perception of life and our interactions with the world and others. Living fully in the present is one of the fundamental teachings of Stoic philosophy. Focusing on the now allows us to experience each moment with renewed intensity. It helps us to be more mindful, effective, and focused in our daily actions and decisions. One of the main barriers to living fully in the present is the natural tendency of the mind to wander. This constant distraction takes us away from the present reality and prevents us from fully enjoying life. Recognizing this tendency is the first step toward freeing ourselves from concerns about the past and future. Practices for cultivating presence, such as meditation and mindfulness, provide us with powerful tools to strengthen our ability to remain in the present. Through mindfulness, we learn to be fully present in each moment, cultivating a deep sense of calm and mental clarity. Living in the present also has a significant impact on our relationships and how we face life's challenges. When we are fully present in our interactions with others, we connect more deeply with them and cultivate more authentic and meaningful relationships. One of the greatest joys of living fully in the present is the ability to find beauty and gratitude in every moment of life. When we are truly present, even the simplest experiences are filled with meaning and fill us with joy and gratitude. Lastly, it's important to recognize that living fully in the present not only benefits our own lives but also has a positive impact on the world around us. When we are present and engaged with the present moment, we radiate positive energy that affects those around us, inspiring them to do the same. The importance of flexibility and adaptability in daily life is crucial for facing challenges calmly and growing in the face of adversity. These skills allow us to adjust to changing circumstances rather than resisting them, helping us to remain steady and resilient in the face of life's twists and turns. Flexibility and adaptability involve accepting the lack of control over many situations, recognizing that there are aspects of life that are beyond our control, freeing us from worry about what we cannot change and allowing us to focus on how we react to events. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by what we can't control, we can focus on making positive and constructive choices. A positive attitude towards challenges is essential for cultivating flexibility and adaptability. Being able to see difficult moments as opportunities to grow and strengthen ourselves allows us to face obstacles with determination and optimism. Every problem or challenge can be seen as a surprise exercise that life offers us, providing us with the opportunity to learn and develop as individuals. Flexibility allows us to maintain a positive perspective even in the most difficult situations, driving us to look for creative solutions and alternatives when faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Instead of getting stuck in adversity, we can find ways to adapt and move forward with determination. A powerful analogy for understanding the importance of flexibility is that of bamboo. Bamboo is capable of bending with the wind, but not breaking, illustrating the need to adapt without losing our essence. Like bamboo, we must be able to bend with the changing circumstances of life without losing our inner strength. The practice of flexibility and adaptability is essential for developing emotional resilience, allowing us to remain calm and move forward even in difficult times, strengthening our ability to face challenges with determination and optimism. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by adversity, we can find strength in our ability to adapt and grow from it. In daily life, it is important to practice flexibility and adaptability in all areas. Every obstacle or challenge can be seen as an opportunity to exercise these skills and strengthen our ability to face challenges with calm and resilience. Flexibility and adaptability are considered a superpower in the modern world, as they prepare us to face challenges with resilience and optimism, ready for any eventuality that may arise. In short, being flexible and adaptable allows us to face life's challenges with calm and resilience, turning adversities into opportunities for personal growth and strengthening our ability to find creative solutions even in the most difficult moments. The pursuit of self-sufficiency and independence is a profound path towards true happiness and inner peace. For the Stoics, self-sufficiency goes beyond simply meeting our basic needs. It involves finding happiness and peace within oneself without overly depending on the approval or help of others. It's a state of emotional balance where we are able to face life's challenges with serenity and inner strength. This path to self-sufficiency involves developing solid internal qualities such as justice, courage, and balance. Emotional freedom allows us to face external challenges without being negatively affected by them. It's not about isolating ourselves from the world, but about finding the inner strength to stand firm in the midst of life's storms. We value relationships and experiences, but we do not depend on them for our happiness. Instead, we build lasting happiness based on an attitude of acceptance and appreciation for the simple things in life. Ultimately, self-sufficiency is a journey of self-discovery and personal growth that leads us to find true happiness and inner peace. It's a path that invites us to look within, to cultivate qualities like strength, wisdom, and compassion, and to build a life grounded in authenticity and balance. As we progress on this path, we become fuller and more conscious beings, capable of facing life's challenges with confidence and serenity. Adopting an attitude of emotional detachment in philosophy is crucial for achieving inner tranquility and wisdom. Detachment does not mean suppressing or denying our emotions, but learning to observe them objectively and remain steadfast in our long-term values and goals. The first step in practicing emotional detachment is recognizing that our emotions are transient and do not define our reality. We often let our emotions control our actions and decisions. However, by adopting a detached attitude, we can learn to observe our emotions without identifying with them, allowing them to flow freely without clinging to them. One of the key techniques for practicing emotional detachment is mindfulness or mindfulness. By cultivating present moment awareness, we can observe our emotions without judging or automatically reacting to them. Instead of being swept away by the current of our emotions, we can take a step back and consciously choose how to respond. Emotional detachment also involves cultivating an objective perspective on our experiences and circumstances. Instead of interpreting everything through the filter of our momentary emotions, we can train ourselves to see things clearly and objectively. This allows us to make informed decisions based on our long-term values, rather than acting impulsively under the influence of our transient emotions. One of the main advantages of emotional detachment is that it allows us to stay focused on our goals and values despite emotional fluctuations. Instead of letting our emotions distract or discourage us, we can maintain a clear vision of what is important to us and move forward with determination and perseverance. Furthermore, emotional detachment helps us develop greater resilience in the face of adversity. By not over-identifying with our emotions, we are less likely to fall into despair or hopelessness when facing difficulties. Instead, we can maintain a calm and confident attitude, knowing that we are capable of overcoming any challenge that comes our way. Another advantage of emotional detachment is that it helps us improve our interpersonal relationships. By not letting our emotions dictate our responses, we are more capable of communicating effectively and resolving conflicts constructively. Additionally, by not being emotionally dependent on others for our happiness or satisfaction, we can enjoy more mature and balanced relationships. In summary, practicing emotional detachment is an invaluable skill for cultivating inner tranquility and wisdom in everyday life. By learning to observe our emotions without identifying with them, we can maintain an objective perspective and focus on our long-term values and goals. This allows us to make informed decisions, develop greater resilience, and enjoy healthier and more satisfying relationships. Promoting introspection and self-knowledge on the path of Stoicism plays a crucial role in our personal and emotional development. These practices invite us to look inward, exploring our deepest emotions, thoughts, and motivations to better understand ourselves and the world around us. Introspection allows us to delve into our inner world, exploring the complexities of our emotions and thoughts. By taking the time to reflect on our experiences and reactions, we can identify recurring patterns and better understand the roots of our emotions and behaviors. Through introspection, we develop a greater self-awareness, recognizing our strengths and weaknesses, as well as our areas for emotional improvement. This self-awareness provides a solid foundation upon which to build our personal and emotional growth, allowing us to effectively identify and address areas of our life that require attention and development. Self-knowledge helps us understand our deepest motivations, revealing the driving forces behind our actions and decisions. By understanding our motivations, we can make more informed decisions aligned with our values and long-term goals rather than acting impulsively or reactively. One of the key tools for promoting introspection and self-knowledge is the practice of mindfulness or mindfulness. By cultivating present moment awareness, we can observe our internal and external experiences without judgment or automatic reaction. This allows us to develop greater mental and emotional clarity, facilitating the process of introspection and self-exploration. Another useful technique is keeping a reflection journal where we can record our daily thoughts, emotions, and experiences. By regularly writing about our experiences and reflecting on them, we can deepen our understanding of ourselves and gain valuable insights into areas of emotional improvement. Therapy can also be a powerful tool for promoting introspection and self-knowledge. By working with a trained therapist, we can explore our thoughts and emotions more deeply, identifying destructive patterns and developing strategies to address them effectively. By promoting introspection and self-knowledge, we cultivate a healthier and more compassionate relationship with ourselves. We learn to accept ourselves with all our imperfections and to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding. This allows us to develop greater emotional resilience and a greater capacity to face life's challenges with calm and clarity. Developing mental and emotional resilience on the path of Stoicism plays a fundamental role. It's about cultivating an inner strength that allows us to face life's obstacles and challenges with determination and perseverance. It's the ability to remain steadfast in the face of difficulties without allowing them to discourage or divert us from our goals. Mental and emotional resilience involves learning to manage stress, uncertainty, and adversity constructively. It allows us to remain calm in the midst of the storm, finding solutions instead of being overwhelmed by problems. It's a process of self-discipline and self-control, where we learn to channel our emotions and energies positively. One of the keys to developing mental and emotional resilience is cultivating an attitude of acceptance and adaptation in the face of adverse circumstances. Instead of resisting or lamenting what we cannot change, we learn to accept reality as it is and look for ways to adapt and move forward. This attitude allows us to free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and focus our energy on what we can control. Another important aspect is learning to handle failure and criticism constructively. Instead of being discouraged by setbacks, we use them as learning opportunities and growth. We recognize that failure is part of the process of achieving success and remain steadfast in our determination to move forward despite setbacks. The practice of gratitude also plays an important role in developing mental and emotional resilience. By focusing on what we have instead of what we lack, we cultivate an attitude of appreciation and satisfaction that helps us maintain a positive perspective even in the most difficult moments. Gratitude strengthens us emotionally and gives us the strength to face challenges with courage and optimism. Additionally, it's important to learn to set healthy boundaries and say no when necessary. This helps protect our mental and emotional health, preventing us from overloading ourselves with responsibilities or commitments that exhaust us. Learning to prioritize our needs and take care of ourselves is essential for maintaining mental and emotional resilience in the long term. The practice of meditation and mindfulness can also be helpful in developing mental and emotional resilience. These techniques help us train our minds to focus on the present moment, freeing us from past or future worries that may weaken our resilience. By learning to be present and centered in each moment, we strengthen our ability to face challenges with calm and clarity. Thank you for joining us on this journey towards personal development and inner strength. Now, If any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.